Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all those that celebrate and enjoy the times and good times with the family. The Bengals won again, 3 in a row, which at one point this year probably didn't seem possible, regardless of the opponent. And the opponents have been pretty weak, which will be part of the story we have today. Today's episode will focus on the same things we've looked at the last few weeks. As I said, we were in evaluation mode, but more specifically this time, it's not just one player, it's not just two players we've done. It'll be the whole defensive young standouts that each had an impact in Sunday's victory over the Cleveland Browns, which interesting that they all made a play. Yes, the Browns may be the worst offense in the entire NFL, but you still have to make plays. We still would rather see these guys play well than not. So part of the dead cat bounce and what stocks are we buying at the end of the year? Hard to say. But having the young guys perform well in these situations is better than them not performing well. If they were in the same situation and Joseph Osai wasn't winning, or Chris Jenkins didn't get 2 sacks, or McKinley Jackson didn't get his first sack, or Jordan Battle wasn't involved in 2 turnovers the last 2 weeks, right? Their fumble recovery and the interception this week. Then that would be a bad thing. Those wouldn't be good for the evaluation going forward. So at the very least, we have today 18 plays to review. 18 is a lot for, I would say, is there any of these guys that are over 25? I don't think any of them are. They're all 25 and younger, making plays. It's just Trey Hendrickson and Mike Hilton, who I don't know if we are going to highlight in this episode. Both, again, were good. Trey's been Trey. Mike Hilton, I would like to say for a minute, what a great game. Pound for pound, maybe the best blitzer, he's going to say. He said on Twitter that he's the best blitzer after I said he's one of the best, regardless of positions. But pound for pound, he might be the best blitzer in the NFL. Just a good player. And we're getting to this game here, which I'll preview at the end of the film review. We'll start with the film review. Then we'll talk a little bit about this Saturday's game against the Denver Broncos, biggest game of the season for both teams. Let's dive in, though. We've got at least McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins, Joseph Osai, Myles Murphy, Josh Newton, Cam Taylor-Britt, Jordan Battle, Geno Stone. Yes, Geno Stone is 25 and younger. He's a young player. And then we've got some linebackers as well to mix in there. Shaka Hayward, Mama John Meta. So we got a ton of players to look. And Cedric Johnson. I forgot him. I keep forgetting him. Ton of young players to look at in this game, all making an impact one way or the other. All right, starting after that long run that we're not going to look at because sometimes things get weird on the first play of the game, and this one backfired on the Bengals, but they hold their own at the end at the goal line. Bend but don't break was always the plan, right? As my guy says on Twitter. But the breaking was happening too far often. Hey, we got Jordan Battle highlighted first here. Communication, simple motion across the screen, right? We're in man coverage. Looks like Mike Hilton going with him, but that changes what we're going to do. I'm going to go to free. You're going to go to strong, and we're going to see how it all communicates from there. Communication isn't overrated, but maybe the Bengals valued it incorrectly with Von Bell early in the season. Then you see Geno, look what he's saying. Hey, come over, because I'm going to go inside. You've got the outside. He's talking to Newton, make sure he's got it. And you see Geno Stone right away taking on the blocker, eyes inside. I'm going to force the running back to cut outside. And when he does, Joseph Osai and Josh Newton are going to close really quickly with Geno Stone breaking off of it and helping on this tackle as well. So that's 3 young guys right there, all 25 and younger, helping to make the run stop. Shaka Hayward, number 50. This is the play that Von Bell made, which we're not going to see Von Bell too much more in Bengals uniform, and we've had good times with him. Make sure you let him hear it this week at Paycor. This is the last time at home. Shaka Hayward, though, getting in now because Bocce's not in, because Logan Wilson's not in the goal line package. We got to take this lead blocker on, number 59, I want to say, or 58, this guy. Let's meet him in the hole and set the tone early. How physical are we going to be, especially at the goal line? Bam! That is a hit. Oh, right into his chest. Get a little piece of forward also while these other guys are coming in filling. Von Bell punches it out and recovers. That starts with Shaka Hayward, number 50. We don't get to see him much. So it's nice to see him there. Another young guy, right? This is going to be our first full play, first full action to see what was going on. First battle was up here. Now battle's going to rotate. Looks like we're going to rotate into a cover 2 situation. And I'm assuming we're getting play action here off of this play. I've watched the film already, but I don't remember all the plays just that fast. And as we get there, Dorian Thompson-Robinson in the top of his drop, he immediately has to get out of there, right? We've got pressure. Despite 2 guys being there, we've got pressure coming from this side. And I don't really know where the Browns are trying to attack here. We've got one guy running here, and we've got one guy squeezed all the way to the sideline by Josh Newton on the top of the screen. Where do you want DTR to even throw this ball? I'm not sure, but he steps up, starts running away. You see the communication too between Newton and I believe it's Stone on this side. So watch Newton at the top of the screen here. You're going to see him jam the receiver all the way to the edge. And when he does, you're going to see him point because it's a cover 2 situation. So we've got coverage up here and we're going to have coverage right here, meaning there is a window if you've got the opportunity to have for a whole shot here. But between Newton and Stone and no other receiver being in the area, watch them communicate and say hey, just so you know, you've got that, right? Over here, watch Newton's going to point. Hey, you've got that. You've got it, right? Just in case. I've got to come down and protect to make sure DTR doesn't run. So it's good coverage. It's good communication. It's fluidity between everyone. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's what it looked like for many years in the Lou Anarumo scheme. Now let's watch these edge guys. How did we get pressure here? Where did it come from? It's our man, Mike Hilton. This guy, like I said, one of the best blitzers, pound for pound. Look at him running this arc. He's causing both of these tight ends to come out there and block this. And we're dropping Trey Hendrickson in the coverage. Why? Because of Lou. Because we do these things. But it works. Look at these guys. Chase it down. Osai. Chris Jenkins. Jenkins is going to get credit for the sack here. So on this last view, let's watch Chris Jenkins and let's see how he gets the cleanup sack here. Created by Mike Hilton in the coverage. But we need guys that can clean up. And Chris Jenkins does that on this play. Lined in the A gap over the center. At this point here, it's play action. They're just trying to ride him out of the play. As you see, everyone's blocking this way, right? You have to beat it vertically, but then the hard part is to break down and flatten your rush. Let's watch Jenkins do it here. Oh, it's a spin move back inside. Flatten from there and finish the play. Hey, I think he's got, was the one sack? That had to be preseason, wasn't it? I'm remembering a spin move. Or was that early in the year that he got that? Was his first sack on the spin move? Someone correct me, or if that was preseason or not. He does the spin move a ton. So let's put 2 on the board, whether it was preseason or not. All right. Running the ball here. Bengals, one single high safety. You see the motion, first of all. They're going to bring a tight end to help in block. And Battle, who was in coverage, is going to say, okay, we know this. We know what this looks like if they're doing this. It's a run play. And watch how quickly he fires. So he knows. He's been in the film room. As he sets up here, eyes on Battle. See how he's leaning forward that whole time, right? He is inching. He's, let me in there. Let me in there. Come on. When are you going to? I love seeing that from players. We see that. I pointed it out a lot from Jermaine Pratt, but seeing it from the young guys too means they're on it. And also, if we could go back, because last week we did a lot of timing the snap with these young guys and seeing these guys get off the snap as quick as we possibly can. I want to go back to Miles Murphy. If I can time it correctly, he is off the snap really, really well. It's one of the things that has been encouraging in year 2 for him is that he is moving at a quicker pace. But eyes back on Battle. You see him fill it right there. We're going to get multiple angles on this one, so you'll be able to see as well. But it's Murphy and Battle teaming up to make the stop. I don't think it went for any gain here. So Battle in your screen to the right. Watch him. He's creeping inside. That's a nice tackle too. I mean, the closing speed is something we really haven't seen from this defense all year. It's something they have missed. We talked about tackle radius. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Battle definitely has a good tackle radius. He also closes really well. I think that helps. Like right here, we've seen these guys miss tackles in this spot all year long. Battle doesn't do that. I'm with you guys if you think Battle should have been playing more and more this year. Bengals in a cover 2 situation. We've got a Trey Hendrickson sack. I want to go back to the coverage though before we focus on the sack, because I want to say, okay, are these clean wins by the D line? Are they coverage sacks? Right here, he's looking first. We got a cover 2 situation. You could attack middle of the field if you had this tight end maybe going this way. Instead, he's coming out this way. The timing right now would have to be to get this out here. He's not even looking that way anymore. The timing is done because Hendrickson's about to get this play blown up. He's trying to come back here and seeing if he can hit this guy sitting down, but we are right on him. I'm not sure which linebacker this is. We'll see it from the other angle. But here it should have been middle of the field, no, or check down right to this running back. And DTR is just not that quick of a processor. So the coverage is good, but there's an open player, and Hendrickson wins the rush with no escape outlet because of Miles Murphy's power rush on the other side. So we're going to focus on both guys. First, we're going to focus on Miles Murphy at the left end spot. This is something I pointed out last week as we end up with tight ends, especially in this Browns offense. You don't get too many opportunities to pass rush. So them getting 5 sacks, and I mean true like pin your ears back type rushes. When you got tight ends over you, what happens to your feet? You've got to play the run. And so you're really not in a stance to pass rush from the get-go. It almost has to be a secondary reaction once you realize it's a pass. Now, Trey's going to switch his feet up, though. He's going to get into a better stance. But focus on Miles Murphy if you can for me. We'll watch him from this angle, then we'll switch to Trey. So Murphy's got to deal with this tight end. So you can't run your arc this way because of the tight end. So he's got to come off more straight up the field, which isn't a bad thing from this alignment. But I'm just saying it cuts down your angles of what you can do. And you also have to worry about the running back here. So the running back flaring out right here means I also can't go wide. So the only thing he's got left, and this works to Murphy's strength because he wants to be a power rusher, is to go directly through number 78 there at right tackle. So as we get to this point right here, he's gearing up. This looks like a Carlos Dunlap type stance, right? If you remember that, if you watch a lot of Dunlap film, get into him, get your hand in his chest, be longer and stronger than they are, and walk that guy directly into the quarterback. So let's watch it full speed from here. Now, Trey had a clean win, but if it wasn't a clean win, I think that pocket's collapsing either way. So you get credit from Murphy for a pressure here. Now we're eyes on Trey Hendrickson. See how Hendrickson said, well, my feet were even, but I'm going pass rush here. And now I'm turning into a more vertical stance, traditional pass rushing 3-point stance. And watch his get off is going to be good because of it. And he can attack. I want to get to where if I can pause it when he connects with those hands, I would like to see this. Young rushers, young defenders, and even O-linemen, if you're playing at a whatever level, youth level to all the way up to school, get that outside hand up. If you can lift that guy's outside hand, you have a clear path. You get this hand out of here, this arm out of here, this one right there. You have that outside path directly to the quarterback. Get it out, get it away, get it down, and attack. And Hendrickson does right there. A little rip to secure and make sure that he can't get that arm back down and get a hand on his shoulder pad, and then boom, sack. Hendrickson's hands are so good. Not only is he strong, he's a bit crazy. He's a super athlete. He's an elite athlete, but he also has great technique, great hands. All right, next play here. Play action, reset the pocket. We're just going to check it down here. First, let's look at the coverage. Not a lot going on. Look at this. I mean, we got communication. We're pointing the guys down here and nothing going on. You're not covering anyone. You're just over top the deep half. We've got 2-man routes all the time from the Browns. And then the check down here, it's just levels. Let's just cut the field. If you're the Browns wondering why you would do this, we're just going to cut the field in half, DTR. We're not going to ask you to read the whole field. Just read high, middle, and if not, check it down. So the Bengals have it completely covered. Now we need to rally to the ball and make a tackle, something they haven't been able to do all year. You hold that to a 1-yard gain when you're how far off the ball here. I'm going to try and pause it again when DTR goes to throw it and rally now. You guys are back here just about 1 yard from the first down, so you're about 9 yards off the first down. You're gonna cover 8 yards by the time he's about what, 6, 7 yards from it? So you're gonna cover 8 by the time he covers 7 waiting for the ball and hit him there. That's a good play. That's Jordan Battle. That's Mama John Meta. Let's look at it from the other angle. You can watch these guys close. Watch what they do. The two of them right here, communicating already. Battle's communicating. The Battle's got the tight end over here. Watch how they go into coverage. First, they got to read run, right? Okay. See how they angled outwards? I went too far back. Watch how they angle outwards with the run here. They got to flow with the O-line. We're reading O-line. Now drop into coverage. Okay. I like that out of John Meta. I didn't see that originally. Watch John Meta, 45 here. Watch how he gets a hit on this tight end. Yeah, let's knock him off his route a little bit. Even if you wanted to go to this, and I don't think he does because this is Battle here cutting this off. This is John Meta hitting this guy. They're taking care of the number 2, and then they're going to come and tackle the number 3 option for DTR. So let's watch them converge now. As a runner, you want to split these guys if you can. If I can't get this guy to leave the outside open, you're going to just try to split them. Get what you can out of this. And if the defenders come down and equally lay the wood, take care of business, there's not much to get after that. So nice job by the two of them. We're back on Jordan Battle. Eyes up as he's coming down into the box here. He's going to take on all-pro, perennial Pro Bowler, Wyatt Teller, number 77. You see him pulling from the right guard spot. He's coming around. He's going to try and block Jordan Battle. Battle sees it. That's why he's leaning forward, too, at the snap. Again, get underneath. Torque your hips. Get in position, make the tackle. This is a A-plus play out of Jordan Battle. I saw this one live on TV and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's fired up today. What a play by Jordan Battle. That is a A-plus play, to say it again. Well, we got a blitz again. Bengals are showing it. Here comes Mike Hilton. It looked like Jermaine Pratt coming down this way. What kind of pressure are we going to force on this young quarterback? Tackle for a loss. Jordan Battle again. This is a couple plays after one I just showed you. Here's Battle. You didn't see him. He's down here. He's at the free safety spot. We'll get a better angle on the other side when we flip it over. But watch how he comes down here. He's going to start leaning forward. He knows where it is. He knows where it's coming. And again, tackle radius, closing speed, two things they have severely lacked. Whatever issues they had to start the year with not playing him, and we talked about it a little bit. I understand some of it was Battle, but he should have been inserted ASAP. Didn't feel like he was at times, but as soon as he was able to be, watch this. You telling me he couldn't have been doing this for most of the year for you? Watch him. He's at the free safety spot, but he is not respecting the pass. Already, he's moving forward, and he's moving towards where he thinks the play's going. Look at this. And then close, dive. He is horizontal on this. Let's see if I can pause it when he's making this tackle. We talk about Joe Burrow making this horizontal touchdown pass. Hey, let's get more of these tackles. Yeah, I don't want to leave my feet, but sometimes you have to. I know that's not sound tackling, but sometimes we need a couple of these guys that can tackle outside of their range, and Jordan Battle is doing that. Takes him down. What a play. Davis-Gaither is going to slip a block here. Make the tackle. I want to talk about this because he's following McKinley Jackson. These are things I thought Akeem Davis-Gaither would be able to do more often. But when your nose is having issues, and I'm not saying Jackson is right now. I think Jackson's actually playing pretty decent. We'll see how long he can tie up this guard for. This guard is going to try and release and get ADG. Watch how just stuns him enough for ADG to get in position. But if your nose tackle can't do this, I think he's going to look like a much worse linebacker. He doesn't deal with blockers that well. But that right there is enough to allow ADG to get up and get in position. Now I'll focus on 59. Watch him dip under this block. Yeah, make the tackle. Meanwhile, McKinley Jackson's knocking over the center. So watch him again from this angle now. You'll really see the dip. Chop, lift, break inside. That's awesome. ADG is not one of the young guys we're building around, but McKinley Jackson is, and I think he did a good job here keeping his linebacker free. Eyes on Joseph Osai. He is a hustle player. He's done this his entire career. There's some people that haven't watched film and maybe think he's breaking out now, or this is the best he's ever looked. This is how he has always looked. I think he's been an asset all 3 years he's been healthy. And this is what he's always done. I got plenty of clips I can pull up on Twitter. He's reading the option there, sees what's going on. If we want to go back, Jermaine Pratt is completely lost on this play. Jordan Battle as well. They're all attacking this action this way. But you know who's not who's not falling for it and is now attacking correctly? Joseph Osai. Watch him there. He reads it. Okay, it's not quarterback's taking it. Let me hawk him down here. Doesn't get tripped up by Chris Jenkins. Talk about tackle radius. Let's talk about tackle radius real quick as Jenkins tries to make this right there. Right? Tackle radius outside of your frame. Can you make these tackles? Jenkins couldn't there. Well, let's watch Osai as he jumps over him and hawks him down and punches his ball out. I mean, that's an effort play. Does Sam Hubbard make that? Sam Hubbard's a high effort guy. That's great against the run. But does he have that athleticism? And did he have it this year with the injuries he accumulated? Injuries the last couple of years, really, over his whole career. Does he have that to be able to hawk that guy down? A quick quarterback. That's an athletic quarterback to be able to do that too. So that's a great play by Joseph Osai. This is the interception by Jordan Battle. We'll go back to the coverage real quick here because it's a really good blitz by Lou Anarumo, and we'll see it even better. They think that Pratt is blitzing, though, based on the alignment, and I'll break it down in a second. And because of that, DTR is just throwing it up, leaves it in no man's land, and Jordan Battle makes the play. Battle, 2 weeks in a row now, getting his hands on the ball, whether it's scooping up a fumble and fumbling it himself, I know, or by getting his hands on the ball here for an interception. He almost had another one, too, later in the game. And now I'll show the blitz that I'm talking about from Lou and the guys that helped this one. Geno Stone getting the pressure as the unblocked defender. You'll see as he comes into the box here. I will pause it now. Okay. I'll start with Battle. Typically, when you're lined up directly above, and we'll do the same here, as Mike Hilton's basically playing safety. He has played hybrid safety. We're talking about what do we need to do to keep him in the future. Maybe it's a hybrid safety role. He's been doing it for 2 years. He's had good years, too, doing it. But typically when they're relying directly above the tight ends, I have to assume as a young quarterback that this guy and this guy are rushing. And now we can see right at the snap, they're bringing 2 more guys in the A-gap. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're bringing 7. I don't have 7 blockers here. At most, I have 6, or do they end up keeping 81 in? Actually, I don't know. They do keep 81 in. So they've got 7. So in his mind, I've got enough guys that they're bringing the house. I can pick this up if I get the right guys. It looks like Jerome Ford, who is actually a decent pass blocker. I was looking at PFF ratings, and he's in like the top 10 over the last 10 weeks or so. He's supposed to be picking up Geno Stone, I think, or is Teller's supposed to be. Either way, they don't pick it up because they're showing so many guys that don't end up coming. Primarily, Jermaine Pratt doesn't end up coming. He was looking like it. You had him directly above. He didn't come. So you get a free rusher in Geno Stone who does a good job of closing. I mean, you got to cut that gap, hit the hole, cut that gap, turn it, and then not blow this quarterback up because we know how penalties can be thrown on this. Do just enough to get in the way and attack that arm. Make that a hard throw that he can't follow through on it. Interception, Jordan Battle. So good call, Lou. Good disguising by everyone in between there, doing their jobs, understanding that if I show it, I might get a free rusher for my teammate here. And then good execution by everyone involved. I remember what this play was now. Eyes on McKinley Jackson, who has been flashing more and more and more. And I'll tell you, that is good news. We may not want, some of you may not want the wins right now. And are ready to burn everything down. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Do what you want. Fan how you want to. But McKinley Jackson is starting to flash more often. Here he is as a true nose. He's got to hold up at the point of attack as they're coming right at him. All right, we've got the double team here. Hold up, hold it down. Just like we saw earlier with Akeem Davis-Gaither getting there as the guard's going to release. Now hold the ground. First of all, you didn't give him anything on the double, on the initial hit. Now hold your ground versus that center. And can you do it? Yes, you can. Look at him. He gave up nothing. That running back ran right into the center's back at that point, and McKinley Jackson just holding him up. So these are good plays. This is what we want to see. You see it there again? You see it? You see it? Do I need to go back for you? McKinley Jackson on this side. Holding up that center. Letting his boys come in and make the play. He got in on the tackle, but sometimes the nose doesn't. Sometimes you don't get credit for that. We're rotating again the safety spots. You see how they switched? Right before the snap. DTR's got to run. Going to try and make something happen. Throws it up. DJ Ivy with the tip. Geno Stone with his 4th interception of the season. And they're all coming in a row now at the end versus the Cowboys, versus the Titans, versus the Browns. Sure, not the greatest of quarterbacks, but again, it's better to have these guys make plays than to wonder if they ever even can. This is DJ Ivy here. We don't get enough to talk about DJ Ivy. We don't get enough snaps. We don't get enough opportunities to really say much. But he is a long guy that can cover. And if he lost anything with his knee, we really aren't seeing it. Doesn't look any slower, any stiffer. But he's also covering tight ends now. So if he did lose something, probably not going to affect him really, as he's covering slower guys than he is receivers. This may be a good role for him. This may be something he can do for a long time in the NFL. Cover tight ends and try and use his long arms to make a play on the ball. He doesn't even see the ball coming there. He just realizes when David Njoku puts his hands up, I got to attack the hands. And he does and pops it straight up. Not an easy interception for Geno Stone either, and flips away from Njoku. This is a great pick, actually. To grab it one-handed, tip it to yourself, and as you're going down, Njoku's going to try and punch it out himself. Flip your body around, land on your back. Let's watch the pass rush here, huh? We've got Myles Murphy, who's going to run this arc, and he doesn't get too many opportunities to run this arc. Trey Hendrickson's going to run the arc, and we got Joseph Ossai on the inside here, going to rush from the inside, which he's only been doing the last handful of games, and it's something he did early in his career a ton. So, a little bit more pressure here than what they normally get out of the defensive tackles right there. Hendrickson's going to try and flatten right there, and we're going to let Murphy run the arc. This is complementary rushing. It is going to leave an escape route for DTR, though. But the initial pressure sometimes creates the chaos. There we go. BJ Hill's looking for the flag. That's not coming on that one. That's a great play by DJ Ivy and Geno Stone. Need these young guys to make plays. Here they are. Next play. Stepping up, and we get a sack. Let's go back to the coverage before we go to the sack. This is Chris Jenkins, by the way. Chris Jenkins getting his 2nd sack, 3rd of the season. It's big. Can we get 4 sacks this year? Oh, man, 4 sacks in a rookie season. We will take that, no doubt about it. Let's get to the top of our drop here. Let's get an idea of what is running. And, man, we're just curling. We're just curling. And then we've got 2 flat. I hate this. I hate this for the Browns. The offense looks bad. The play calling looks bad lately. And this is a guy, 2-time coach of the year, I think Kevin Stefanski is. Maybe they lost Bill Callahan and everything's falling apart a little bit. But it doesn't help when you don't have bad quarterbacks. We've seen when you have bad quarterbacks and don't have a good one, we've seen what the offense can look like. It can be a mess. So eyes on Chris Jenkins here, number 90. Go for the power, stutter step power against, is that Batonio? Yep. And then now here, once you've pushed the pocket, you're at a depth because let's think about it. If you couldn't push the pocket and you were still here, you really can't chase DTR. But because you have pushed the pocket and your guard is now here, you can disengage and close on the play. Now, can he? We just pointed out that he missed that tackle on the DTR run earlier, not being able to tackle outside of his frame. He's going to have to tackle outside of his frame here, and he does. This is a very nice sack for Chris Jenkins Jr. This is a high-quality one. The one earlier was a cleanup sack. I categorized that as we were watching it. This is a high-quality sack for a defensive tackle. Not some A-plus win or anything, but anytime you can use power and push the pocket into the quarterback, we will take that. That is an asset to a defense. And then making a tackle. Not the easiest thing for defensive tackles, especially against quicker rushers. I'm going to go back just a click here. I've got Myles Murphy highlighted here, and this will be a big conversation. There are some people, we had the Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. There were some people commenting in there, stop hyping up Miles Murphy. He hasn't done anything. Sorry, you're not watching the tape if you say that. I understand. Maybe you're an older fan. Maybe you say, I only care about sacks and tackles. Those are things that we care about. Don't get me wrong. But can the guy win as a pass rusher? If he can win and the ball already comes out, then what do you want him to do? This was the case with Carl Lawson. Lawson won a lot of pass rushes, but didn't clean up sacks because he had a few issues. He was a little bit stiff. He had short arms, but he also didn't have anyone next to him doing anything. Miles Murphy at Clemson. One of the reasons I was critical of this pick was because he primarily only rushed from right defensive end where he is right now. And he loved the long arm move, which is your left arm right into the chest or under the armpit and lifting and moving that left tackle. Now, you get him in Cincinnati and you already got Trey Hendrickson at right end and he's not moving. So how many chances do we get to see him actually rushing from the right end? If I flip him over, that is a difference because that's a different arm I'm trying to use that long arm with, and he doesn't look the same. So one of our few snaps we get of him, here he is using the long arm from the right defensive end spot. Let's watch it. I mean, right into the quarterback. That's as simple and as clear as it gets. He can still do it. How many opportunities does he actually get? He's played the same exact number of snaps as he did last year now at this point. He's got more pressures than last year. He just doesn't have a sack yet. It's coming. I hope it comes. Having 0 sacks would be terrible. I think he almost got a penalty in this game because he jumped on the quarterback a little bit too late. He is thirsty. He wants that sack just as much as we want him to have it. Full screen here. Different play. Defensive end's getting a rush on the quarterback. We've got a intentional grounding that I thought could have been a sack for Cedric Johnson. We'll focus on Cedric Johnson in a second here. But again, let's look at the routes. We're just curling him here. I don't know what he's looking for on this one. He's coming in. I think we're going to end up with that there. We got to, check it down here, I guess, is your best option. But we're ending up in these situations where it's hard to even evaluate because the quarterback is so frantic in the pocket. Scrambles around, runs around, looking for something. The receivers are barely even running. They look like they're out of it as well. The Browns are already gone fishing, it looks like, in a lot of ways on offense and defense. Eyes on Cedric Johnson for me. I'm going to use yellow here because he's on the orange logo, which I think they look good with these orange pants. I like the black, orange. They look good. I know we've had some weird games, but the Chargers game was fun. And this game was a win. Fun is relative, I guess. But we're going to go with Cedric Johnson. Let me go back and get back to the point. Cedric Johnson on the left side, left defensive end. Going to go with a hesitation. When you get that hesitation right here, bing, bang, you get him to open up his legs. A lot of times you get him to sink their butt down. Get him to hesitate just a little bit. Then you go with the power. I'm going to go back and show you full speed here. So watch the hesitation into power, right? Boom. He lifts him and then right into the quarterback. And good closing speed and tackle. Hey, Cedric Johnson, that's a great rush. It's a young 7th round pick right there. How about Miles Murphy on this side? We get anything out of Miles Murphy? Going with power there. Not as much, but he did break off. The bar is low. I understand that. See if he breaks off here. You got to be able to lift that hand off and get off of him and then close on the quarterback, which he does. All right, next play, full screen. DTR top of his drop, and he's going to get sacked. Again, where are the routes? Is there anyone open? Is this a coverage thing? Everyone's at the same depth. It's an incredibly hard depth. I get it. One guy going on here. We got a couple in routes here and an out route there. There's nothing. This is all covered up very, very well by the Bengals in the back half. There's no creativity from the Browns here, but there's also nobody open. The back half is covering very, very well. This is McKinley Jackson's first sack of his NFL career. We're going to watch him. Number 93 here. He's going to eat some dirt first, or I guess it's turf in this case, and he's going to fight through it against Wyatt Teller. So goes with the power, and then he tries to chop down Wyatt Teller's hand, but Wyatt Teller also has a grip inside, pulls down McKinley Jackson, which he ends up on the ground on his knees, and he's going to crawl towards DTR, not giving up, not finishing. He wants that first sack of his career. Good job, McKinley Jackson. Hey, the flashes the last couple of weeks, man. I appreciate them. Watch from this angle, you'll see the same thing. It's nice. Fight through it. We need some fighters on the defense. Bengals dropping everyone back, it looks like, again. And Trey Hendrickson just misses the sack. Joseph Ossai misses, and then finally cleans him up. This is the play where Myles Murphy got to be getting frustrated. I'd like to see Myles Murphy get some inside rush. How about this? How about Trey Hendrickson, Joseph Ossai, Cedric Johnson, Myles Murphy? Would anyone like to see that on these third and fourth and super long, obvious passing situations? I'd like to see that. Well, Osai's going to get the sack here. It's really created initially by Trey Hendrickson running the arc. You're going to force the quarterback up and away. Ossai then here is beating and getting to the outside. That's a nice clean win. See if I can go back a little bit if you want to see it again. Just watch Ossai here as he realizes what Trey's doing, where the quarterback's going. He's going to give him the arm, drop the arm in order to get away from it, and then finish the sack. I think that should have been a penalty on Murphy. If that was Burrow, I'd want the flag. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it. You can see the Browns players didn't like it. Let's watch Murphy here as he gets the tight end on his side. He's like, oh, all right, I got to contend with the tight end. I can't get a free rush or a real rush. And then his DTR is down. That's late. So 18 big plays by the young group of Cincinnati defenders. And yes, they're all 25 and younger, like I said, other than Hilton and Hendrickson and BJ Hill, who had some plays too that I posted on my Twitter at Joe Goodberry. That one actually might have been a subscriber tweet, but he had a good game as well. Hill has been consistent. That's one of the things we have to think about, I think, in this last home game. Bengals, Broncos, as big as it is for playoff purposes, put a pin in that. Could be the last time we see T. Higgins, Von Bell, BJ Hill, Mike Hilton, and a couple others that could get cut, Alex Kappa, Jermaine Pratt, in Bengals uniforms at home. We've had good times with all of those players. Be loud for them, cheer for them. As much as I'm like thinking Bengals stripes always and thinking from a team perspective, I do care for the players and watch the players. And you spend 4 or 5 years watching some of these guys that the time goes by fast. You always think you're going to have these guys for 10 plus years. Sometimes it's just 4 and that's it. And it stinks because we had good times. We couldn't capitalize in the moments we had. And it may be maybe a couple of those guys come back, but not all of them. So it will be the last time you may get to see them in person. And that's on top of what a big game this is. For all of the faults this year, for all of the frustration we've had, there were moments we've had a lot of that on the show. They're 7-8 with a playoff game on Saturday. The NFL put it on Saturday. You don't know if the Colts or Dolphins have won yet because they'll play the following day on Sunday. The whole NFL world will be watching that game. It's basically a national televised playoff game on a Saturday versus another playoff team. If you want to know, because there's some people that, if you are on the pessimist side, and that's okay. Again, I'm not knocking you. But if you said, even if they got to the playoffs, what's the difference? This defense is terrible. They'd get smoked. The O-line would get killed again. You might be right. But here's the opportunity to see it. Here's the game against a playoff team that has your playoff spot. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Trey Hendrickson, Mike Hilton, BJ Hill, all these guys that have made plays lately. Here's the game. You have a chance. This is a playoff game. It's do or die. You lose, that's it for the season. If you win, you survive one more week to move on. That is the playoffs. And it's at home with everyone watching in the cold, but it's at Paycor, which you won't have a playoff game. If you make the playoffs this year, you won't have one at Paycor because you'll be the 7th seed. So if you're going to that game, enjoy this. Go with the intensity of a playoff game. Be there for the team. It'd be fun. This would be a game to go to. Be a really good game to go to. You're going to see a lot of these guys for the last time in a high pressure moment watching Joe Burrow do December, January football things where he has been great his entire career. I can't wait to watch it because the Broncos have probably the best defense in the league also. It'd be a good test for everyone. We talked about the dead cat bounce and how much we need to buy it. Here's the game. This game is worth 80% of the final 5 weeks, I would say. What do they do in this game here on Saturday? That'll tell the story for the rest of the offseason. We'll talk about this one. Because you can't control what the other teams do. You can only control what you can control, and this is the game you can control on the spotlight for everyone to watch. And we'll recap it on the Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. We gave away 6 jerseys last week. First Star is giving away 2 Xbox One X's with the Bengals wrap on them. You can get involved in one of them through Twitter on X. First Star Log is their account. I've retweeted it at Joe Goodberry. Or watch the game, the postgame show. And the hashtag is more than likely First Star Logistics. When the show comes on, that enters you in. And at the end, usually 30 to 34 minutes, if we go a little bit long, we'll pick a winner. And you could be that person that takes home that Xbox right after Christmas. That'd be a big win. Until next time, hopefully, the Bengals are still alive. But if not, who dey?
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.